Good afternoon. As a courtesy to our fellow media members, as well as the student athletes, we ask that you please silence your cell phones. Please provide your name and media affiliation each time you ask a question during the press conference. Please direct your question to a specific player. If you're joining us on Zoom, please use the raise hand function for questions. Recording press conferences on cell phones or cameras is prohibited. We're going to go ahead and open up the floor for questions for the student athletes from Oral Roberts, Max Asmus, Connor Vanover, and Isaac McBride. Right here in the front.
Nathan Thompson, Fox 23 in Tulsa. For Max first, I mean, for a lot of mid-majors walking in here, having this kind of setup, playing Duke and the NCAA tournament might be kind of overwhelming, but your experience and the team's experience, how much does that help going into this situation?
I think it definitely helps. Being here a couple years ago, kind of understanding everything and what comes with it. And so the big thing for us is really staying in the moment, blocking outside distractions, and getting ready for the game tomorrow.
When we talked to you Sunday, you guys hadn't had a chance to study Duke a whole lot yet. Now that you have, what stands out about the Blue Devils for you?
They're a great team. They're coming off of, winning the ACC championship. So, they're playing good basketball right now. And, the coaches, the second we knew our opponent, they got on the film, started watching film. And, they're giving us a scout, and we're just going to go out there and execute that.
Next question. Right here.
For Connor or Isaac, how much do you, understanding that you have to stay in the moment, as Max said, but you're on a very good run right now. Do you let yourself think of how far can we take this? St. Peter's took it quite far last year.
Just staying in the moment for us is just what it means, staying in the moment. Like, we're not looking on past accomplishments. We're not looking on what we did in conference. This is the moment right now. This is the opponent that we have, and so we take care of business. As Max said, as soon as we figured out that we were going to play Duke, we got right to work, film, preparation, and practice and things like that. So that comes with staying in the moment. We're not really focused on what we did in the past. We're not focused on the accomplishments right now. We're not complacent. We're looking for the now, and we want to keep advancing. And so we're going to do everything that it takes to be able to take those steps to advance. So.
Dan Lindblad with Channel 2 in Tulsa. Connor, first year on this team, but you have made a deep run in this tournament before. How are you relying on that experience for whenever you take the big stage tomorrow?
Yeah, you kind of just got to take it one game at a time. From here on out, everything is really important. So just kind of staying locked in. I'll just use this experience from the past 2 years that I've had, and just kind of keep these guys focused. It's going to be crazy tomorrow. So we just need to make sure that we're all dialed in on the right things.
Right here, row 3.
Nathan Thompson at Fox 23 in Tulsa. Connor, for you, you're known for your 7'5" height, but tomorrow you're going to get to take on a Duke team that's not as tall as you, but they do have two 7-footers that play at the same time. What kind of a challenge is that going to be for you?
This is going to be a good challenge, yeah. Not very many, teams in the country have, at least one 7-footer. So to have two, it's a big thing. Having one of the tallest lineups. So I think it'll be a good challenge for me down low. Just trying to use my length, deter shots, do what I usually do. But I think it's going to be a good opportunity for us.
Back row.
Dan Lindblad, Channel 2 in Tulsa. Isaac, this team goes on a lot of 10-0 runs. It's kind of a metric that's picking up in the sport. Whenever you guys are on one of those 10-0 runs, what goes through your mind? Do you just see red and just know to attack?
Yeah, I think just seeing it in practice every day, seeing it pick up before the season even started. 10-0 runs, they start in the gym with the guys to the left of me working as hard as they do, and the rest of my teammates in the gym. Us being able to put the ball in the basket is a blessing to have as a team. Also being able to do it on the defensive end that starts those 10-0 runs. But whenever we go on those, I'm never really surprised because, I know my teammates and I know how skilled and how amazing they are, and also know how great they are on the defensive end so that we can start those runs. So 10-0 runs, you know, you look up sometimes, you're like, oh, wow, you know, we just put 10 points on the board that fast, that easily. But, you know, it comes with the work that these guys put in, the preparation that they put in. So, yeah.
Kip Coons from Press Box View. Max, Duke prides itself on its defense, and one of the numbers they like to throw out is they've held 24 opponents below their season scoring average. In looking at film of their defense, what impresses you about their, especially perimeter defense, not so much the big guys, but about their perimeter coverage?
I mean, yeah, they got a good perimeter defense, and like you said, the big guys, you know, they're kind of patrolling the paint. But you know, for us, you know, I think that we're just gonna go out there and take what the defense gives us. You know, we're just whatever they give us, we're gonna take, and we're just gonna be out there playing basketball the right way.
Nathan Thompson at Fox 23 in Tulsa. For any of you guys here, I'm just curious, Duke has a national fan base. Did any guys grow up being a Duke fan?
Not me personally.
Nah, I know people who definitely grew up Duke fans, but not personally. No.
Yeah, I'm here with ORU, so, yeah.
What, for you, Isaac, when you got a chance to look at Duke's tape since we talked to you Sunday, what stands out about them for you?
Just an impressive team. Obviously, Coach Shire, Coach K did a great job of keeping it in the family. You know, I see a team that's disciplined. I see a team that has a long tradition, a lot of pride in their name. But I'm here with ORU, as I said, and you know, we have a great group of guys. The guys to the left of me are All-Americans, are outstanding players, outstanding people. I just feel like, you know, we have opportunity to go out and represent for our university. So, great Duke team. You know, I'm here with ORU though. Love ORU. I love my guys. So, yep.
Additional questions? Back row.
Dan LeBlanc, Channel 2 in Tulsa. Max had a great ORU career. It's coming to an end. How do you approach this, knowing that this could be one of the last few times you put on the ORU jersey?
I mean, like I was saying, just staying in the moment and really just enjoying every step of the way. You know, I think that's a big thing that I've trying to kind of been doing the whole year is just trying to stay in the moment and not look too far ahead. You know, I'll get a lot of questions about the future and everything, but the big thing is right now and doing what I can to prepare myself, you know, for the future.
Row 3.
Nathan Thompson at Fox 23. For you, Max, you guys have had such an amazing regular season, probably the best regular season in ORU history. How important, though, is it to add some tournament success to that? If you guys lose tomorrow, does that take some of the accomplishment off of the regular season?
I think we have accomplished a lot during the regular season, but, you know, now none of that really matters. You know, every team in this tournament is good, and they're here for a reason, and so we got to do the necessary things that we have to do so that tomorrow we put our best foot forward and do what we can to continue our season.
Final questions for the student athletes. All right, thank you, gentlemen. Coach Paul Mills will be coming up at 3:05. Okay, Coach Paul Mills has joined us just a couple of minutes early. We can go ahead and open up the floor for Coach if you want to make an opening statement, Coach, as well.
Excited to be here, you know, ready to go. I'm fortunate that you have a group that has experience playing in NCAA tournaments, winning in NCAA tournaments. So I know how excited they are, and well, we're looking forward to, obviously, a really good opponent in Duke.
right here in the front.
Paul, Kip Coons, Ford, Press Box View. We just met your players, many of us for the first time, and they're very confident, but not in a bragging way, about their ability and what they've done this year. How much does what happened 2 years ago translate to that confidence? Because it seems like they know about staying locked in, staying in the moment, and not looking ahead. They seem very focused.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever met a basketball player who didn't think they would win. It's just really rare. So, obviously 2 years ago helps. I would tell you that, if you look at the net rankings, we played the 6th toughest schedule in the country. Alabama was 5th. Of the 4 of the 5 true road games that we played, 4 of those 5 teams are in the NCAA tournament. So when you played the 6th toughest schedule, you played on true road games against teams in the NCAA tournament. New Mexico, the one team that didn't get in, is in the NIT. So I think our schedule has prepared us well. I think the experience has prepared us well. And you also have an older group who's been around the block a time or two. So they understand what this tournament is. I remember 2 years ago, I kept telling them our staff has 81 games of experience, and you guys have 0, so you have to listen to us. Now they have 24. And so to have guys on your roster who've been through 24 NCAA tournament games, it's a privilege.
Kelly Hines, Tulsa World. Paul, you've mentioned that this is the most determined group that you've coached. Where does that come from, and how much of that starts with Max?
Yeah, Max is obviously the catalyst. How rare is it to have a guy who's a 3-time AP All-American on your roster? So to have that ability, I've got a group that gets in the gym at 6 a.m. every morning, and they follow Max's lead. I've got another group that comes in at 7 a.m. in the morning, again, unprompted. They just want to be better at whatever craft they have the ability to be better at. So, a lot of people get up early to work on whatever gifts they have. So for Max, he's a catalyst to a large part of this and does a phenomenal job just being a great example of the things you need to do in order to become a 3-time AP All-American.
Nathan Thompson, Fox 23 in Tulsa. Hey, Coach. You guys drawing Duke, it's kind of create, even across the country, kind of an excitement for this game as one of the first-round games that people are really interested in with your success in the regular season a couple of years ago. Do you like getting a tough draw like this that kind of adds to that excitement, or would you prefer maybe not a big blue blood Duke that went to the national Final Four last year?
Yeah, it doesn't matter to us. As I told the guys, we're going to play somebody good. That's kind of what the NCAA tournament is. You're going to play somebody good. And, just having done this now for a number of years, I can remember in 2010 coaching at Baylor, we lost to Duke in the Elite Eight when they went on and won the national championship. That, you don't really look at the brackets. You just kind of pay attention to what's in front of you because you think so-and-so school's going to win, such and such school's going to win. I've got a group that is in the moment. They're going to be locked in on the moment. I only know Tennessee is on the other side is because Rick Barnes called me and said, "Did you know we were on the other side of you?" And I said, "No," And if had he not told me that Monday afternoon, I had no idea that they were. I now know they're playing Louisiana, but we've got a group that's focused on Duke, and it's all we thought about, all we cared about, and we'll see what happens next.
And when we talked to you Sunday, you hadn't had a chance to study the film of Duke yet. Now that you have, what stands out?
Man, really good. Obviously being able to win an ACC tournament championship, but they had a plethora of injuries, especially at the guard spot early. 5 of their top 7 are freshmen. I would tell you going into now you're approaching game 35 that they're no longer freshmen. These guys have really grown up, And John's done a remarkable job. They're a top 10 rebounding team in the country offensively. They do a great job. You know, sometimes with the big kids who offensive rebounds, you can foul. They're 25th in the country at being able to convert from the free throw line. So they don't have a weakness. Start multiple 7-footers, or the tallest team in the country. So which translates obviously to them being really good offensive rebounding. But and the best thing they do is, you can talk about offense, is they're really good defensively, and they're a top 25 defensive team. So they don't have a lot of holes. So, you know, we're anxious to jump it up and see what happens.
Caden McFarland, 2 News Oklahoma in Tulsa. You talk a lot about shot selection. Everybody wants to do that well. What has kind of been the key for you guys in making that a hallmark of your success?
Man, I could get pretty wonky on this, because I could take you through the numbers and just on what's an efficient shot and what isn't. You're just really trying to ascertain efficiency. So the easiest way to explain it is 33% from 3 is the same as 50% from 2, right? 2 for 6 from 3, 6 points. 3 for 6 from 2, 6 points. 33%, 50%, you're getting the same points. What are the shots that are leading to over 1 point per possession? And I was really bad about it 2 years ago, constantly throwing the numbers in the guy's face about this shot. I mean, we track 14 of them. Our players know the 14 shots. They get a report after every game. And you're just trying to take shots that are highly efficient. You're also trying to make the other team take shots that are highly inefficient. So you know every single player on their roster, where they shoot from, what leads to under 1 point per possession, and what leads to over. So we need to take away this. We need to maybe allow this, all right? We don't need to be as worried about this. You're going to give up something, okay? Every team is taking shots. What are you willing to give up? And do your players know? Because if they're over there, if make or miss is the goal, you can play good defense and teams make a shot. That happens. You can play bad offense and a shot goes in, and we're not going to sit around thinking that that's good. So I just think that shot selection has to be conveyed in a way that it translates to being efficient. And for us, we kind of, being a former calculus teacher, I kind of try to back it up with as much data as possible.
Row 3.
Cody Taylor, USA Today. Coach, what kind of progress have you seen from Max, maybe this season and just throughout his entire career with this program?
Yeah, again, 2 years ago, he was the leading scorer in the country. Shot 57% off the bounce, effective field goal from 3, and that was number 1 in the country. Now he's dialed back his scoring in order to facilitate. So if you look at the last game we played, he had 26 points, 11 assists. And that ability to get others involved, to know that a guy who can score at his level cares about sharing the basketball, it kind of speaks volumes about how I'll take away things that may bring more accolades in order to allow the team to win and be willing to do it. You know, I just think that at that position, you have to have a guy who cares about winning. And again, he may need to score, but then he also may need to facilitate. But to have a guy like that who's so willing to put his ego aside, I mean, the kid could have gone anywhere in the country if he would have wanted to. But to put his ego aside and say, man, how do I add value here? And what role do you need me to add value in? He consistently does that.
Coach Jeff Shane with the Village's Daily Sun. How big or small is the margin between a brand name program and a mid-major champion? And where is that difference typically found?
Great question. It obviously depends on the year. You know, you see really good mid-majors, Loyola Chicago, Wichita State, VCU, Butler, Gonzaga, so on and so forth. I mean, there's a lot of them. You know, I think, again, what makes Power Fives are resources. I mean, most of them have football, right? And so, I mean, we didn't – there's a number of teams who are in the top 30 in net who don't have true quad 1 road wins. They have quad 1 wins, but they don't have quad one road wins. I could name you 4 of them right now, right? Well, why do they get those opportunities and we don't? Well, the reality is we get penalized because we're poor. We do not have the same amount of money. They get rewarded because they're rich. And so we understand it, we get it, but is what it is. Are there mid-majors simply because somebody has a certain name across their chest that could win? Absolutely. There's nothing magical about somebody's name. What makes something magical is the people. If you have a group of people who are committed to something, doing it, there's no magic school. You go to this school, you're not guaranteed anything. And so for us, I just think you're just focused on what are the people in the room and what are we doing in order to add value and get better. And if it's anything other than that kind of focus, you're going to be myopic about this whole process.
Fox 23 in Tulsa. Coach, you just mentioned the name across the jersey. For some mid-majors, playing a Duke in an atmosphere like this could add some points to Duke's scoreboard there just because of that intimidation factor. You don't seem worried about that at all for your team. Is it just from the experience, or is there other stuff about it?
I mean, you could have told us we were playing whomever. I don't care. I don't consider any school superior than anybody else.
Caden McFarland, 2 News Oklahoma in Tulsa. I just asked Deshane Weaver if he could put into a nutshell kind of what's been the key to your success as a coach. What would he say? And he said just one word. He said faith. And I said, you want to expound on that? And he said, that's really all you need to know. So I wonder if maybe you can expound on that. What do you think he meant by that?
Yeah, I love Dr. King's quote that faith is the ability to take the next step of a staircase without knowing where it's headed, right? You just have to take the steps. If you believe that what you're doing is a calling, you believe that you're equipped to do it, again, having spent 14 years at Baylor, having spent a year at Rice, I just worked for fabulous people in Willis Wilson and Scott Drew. I worked alongside, Jerome Tang was Big 12 Coach of the Year. He and I were roommates for 14 years. And so I've worked alongside a number of just really, really good people, and I've seen the steps that it takes in order to do it. And so you're just constantly encouraging your players. Again, our staff has coached 30 NBA guys. So, we've been around the block a time or two. We understand what good players look like. We understand the habits that are involved in having really good players. And I guess from the faith aspect, it's just, man, we are going to take that next step, not knowing where this staircase is headed, but we're not going to be intimidated about taking the next step. So I just have guys that you're constantly trying to level up. The term that gets thrown around quite a bit is trust the process. It's just, listen, how process oriented are we? But if you're focusing on anything other than getting better today, it's just going to drain you mentally, in my opinion. Tomorrow has enough worries of its own. Let's just be focused on this particular moment.
Additional questions for Coach? Right here, row 2.
You mentioned earlier, Jeff Shane of the Daily Sun, that it didn't matter. You direct quote, I don't care who we play.
Yeah.
Is that difficult to convey to your players, particularly perhaps the younger players, to get them to not look at the brand name that may necessarily be across the way?
Unlike Duke, we don't play our younger players. So it doesn't, for us, it doesn't, those guys, they may be, right? My older guys aren't. We're one of the most experienced teams in the country. So it's, Connor played Duke last year when he was at Arkansas. So I don't, again, they don't care who we play. Absolutely. If you're nervous or this school, I couldn't even tell you who has the most national championships, or it may be Duke. I don't know. It may be Kentucky. I don't know. But I will tell you this: when they released the brackets, I told our guys after the first 3 went by. So we're playing Duke or Kentucky. If we were an 11, we were going to play Kentucky. If we were a 5, we were playing. And, I mean, we're excited about playing.
Final questions for Coach Mills? Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Louisiana student athletes will be on the stage at 3:35.